We are now going to talk about various things we can do to graphs, or various changes we can make to graphs. So we're going to take one of our elementary functions. So let's choose f of x equals, let's just do x squared, so a parabola. And we're going to look at various things we can do to the function. Again, Desmos is going to help us. So first, we can shift this function to the left or to the right. So if we look at f of x plus, let's say, 2, the original f of x is in red. The new f of x plus 2 is in blue, and we can see f of x plus 2 has shifted the original graph to the left 2. If we did f of x minus 2, it shifts it to the right 2. We can also shift up and down. So if I go back to f of x, if I want to shift up, I add 2 to the graph. If I want to shift down, I subtract 2. So if we take our function, we subtract, let's say, something from the x value in our function, we shift to the right 2. And if you remember, this function is just simply x minus 2 squared. We're subtracting 2 from the x value. If we want to shift to the left, f of x plus 2, which is, of course, the same as x plus 2, the quantity squared. Shifting up and down, we take the original function, we add or subtract. I'm going to change the function, and we will look at reflections. So we can reflect a function across the x-axis, which makes everything that's positive negative and everything that's negative positive. So that would simply be negative f of x. And you can see the green line, or the green curve, is the original curve, the red, flipped, reflected across the x-axis. If I want to reflect across the y-axis, I simply plug in negative x. And this reflects across the y-axis, which of course for this function looks exactly the same. But when we plug, let's call this g of x equals f of negative x, when we calculate g of 2, that's simply f of negative 2. So reflections, g of x equals f of negative x, reflects across the y-axis, and negative f of x reflects across the x-axis. We can probably see that one better by looking at x squared. Right, across the x-axis, the graph is flipped. The last thing we're going to look at here is g of x equals, we can either scale to f of x, that makes it go faster, going up, 0.5 f of x, slower. And of course we can do f of 2 times x, or f of 1/2 times x. And so these are basically either scaling the x or the y values. And we of course can do all of these things together. For example, negative f of x, that reflects, plus 2 shifts to the left 2. Negative 1/2 of f of x plus 2 widens the graph. So you can do all these things together. So basically the thing let me get rid of this, in this video that we're really talking about is how do we take one of our elementary functions, remember those are x, x squared, x cubed, square root of x, cube root of x, and the absolute value of x, and change them, move them around, make them wider, make them narrower, reflect them across the x-axis, reflect them across the y-axis. And so that's really what we're trying to talk about here in this video. And of course, one wants to be able to take a picture, g of x equals f of x plus 2, and say to ourselves, that's just our elementary function shifted to the left 2. So be able to take the purple line and recognize what it is and how we got there.